In the beginning, when the world was quiet and still, a soft breath seemed to stir over the emptiness. There was no sound, no movement, only the gentle unfolding of something new. The sky stretched wide and dark, and the deep waters lay calm below. This was the start of all things, a beginning wrapped in peaceful silence. Then, little by little, light came softly into the darkness. It was not harsh or sudden, but gentle and warm, like the first glow of dawn. The light separated itself from the shadows, painting the world with new colors. Day and night found their places, one after the other, in a calm, endless rhythm. The sky curved overhead, a wide, tender dome. It stretched between the waters, holding the clouds in the soft blue breeze. Beneath this vast ceiling, the waters gathered, creating oceans, lakes, and rivers. The land rose quietly above the water, shaping gentle hills and broad plains. This place, still fresh and uninhabited, waited patiently to be filled. Grass and plants began to grow. Tiny seeds sprouted, reaching upward with delicate hands. Flowers opened their soft petals, and trees stretched tall, their leaves whispering in slow, soothing rustles. The earth wore a green dress, soft and lively, and the fragrance of earth and bloom drifted lightly through the air. The sun rose to warm the world, and the moon followed to watch over the night. Stars blinked quietly, twinkling in the cool sky. In time, birds took flight, their wings stirring gentle breezes as they sang sweet songs. Fish slipped smoothly through deep waters, and animals moved slowly across the land, each in their own peaceful way. All these days and nights passed gently, each bringing a calm promise of life and growth. Yet something special was still to come, something that would make this calm world even more complete. Now, the story begins to turn to a quiet, tender moment. The breath that once stirred over the waters moved again, slower now, like a lullaby sung softly in the early hours. The earth had been prepared with great care. The gentle winds had shaped valleys and hills, and the streams had carved peaceful paths. The soil was rich and soft, ready to welcome a new kind of life. In this stillness, the breath formed something new and delicate. It reached down into the earth, gathering clay and dust, shaping them with a careful touch. Slowly, a form took shape. Not hurried, but with the ease of one who knows each piece is precious. This was the first human, formed from the very soil of the earth, not rushed or forced, but made patiently. Each curve and line, each part made with gentle intention. Then, a breath of life was breathed softly into this form. This breath was quiet, like a whisper, yet full of a deep, gentle warmth. It filled the new shape with a living spirit, delicate and calm. The first human blinked, eyes opening gently to the softly glowing world. It was a quiet awakening, like the gentle opening of a flower at dawn. The world seemed wide and full of wonder, yet there was a soft stillness all around. This new life was called man, for he was made from the earth itself. He had a heart that could feel, eyes that could see the beauty around, and ears that could hear the peaceful song of the world. Then the world was quiet once more. The man stood gently among the trees, the grass brushing softly against his feet, and the warm sun resting lightly on his skin. He looked at the sky, the land, and the waters, all so calm and full of promise. The birds above sang quiet melodies, and the animals moved slowly, watching this new life with gentle curiosity. Yet the story of this man was only beginning. There was more softness to come, more tender moments to be shared. The breath that made the first man moved again, carrying a whisper of something more. This whisper spoke of companionship, a gentle hand to hold and share the calm beauty of the world. From the deep, quiet places, this breath gathered again, not from the earth this time, but from a place even more delicate and close to the heart. A second form began to take shape, born from a part of the first. It was shaped with the same gentle care, each line and curve drawn slowly and lovingly. When this form was complete, the breath filled it with life as softly as before. Eyes opened, full of gentle light, to see the first human standing near. This new life was called woman, a companion made to walk beside the man in the peaceful world. She too lived with a soft spirit and a kind heart, made to share every quiet moment. Together, the man and the woman looked out over the garden prepared for them. It was a place of calm beauty, full of trees heavy with fruit, and flowers that smelled like the sweetest dreams. They moved slowly through this garden, feeling the soft earth beneath their feet, touching the leaves and blossoms with careful hands. The gentle breeze carried the scent of life and new beginnings. Here, in this tender place, the man and the woman found peace and quiet joy. They were not rushed or hurried, but lived slowly, learning the soft songs of the birds and the gentle whispers of the wind. This was a gift, a place meant for resting and growing softly with the world around them. Sometimes questions might arise in our minds about how all these things came to be. The story holds some mysteries that are gentle and deep, not always clear to us, and that is okay. It is enough to rest with the calmness and wonder of what has been softly made. For now, the garden remains quiet under the sun and stars. The man and the woman sit side by side, surrounded by the gentle beauty of all life newly begun. The world hums softly a lullaby of peace, inviting them to rest. As night falls slowly over the land, the stars appear like quiet dreams on the dark velvet sky. The moon shines softly, casting a gentle glow over the sleeping garden, and so, under the tender watch of the heavens, the story of the first people lulls us into a peaceful rest, full of hope and quiet beginnings. The story pauses here, in the soft silence of a world just waking with life, wrapped gently in the calm and kind embrace of a new creation. The night deepened, wrapping the garden in a soft, velvety cloak. Stars like tiny lanterns hung far above, shone quietly, distant but watchful. The gentle hum of life, the slow breathing of hearth, the rustle of leaves, the whispered promise of tomorrow, filled the air. Man and woman lay side by side, bodies touched by cool earth, hearts steady, thoughts gentle like the night breeze. In this stillness, something new began to grow. The seeds of care, of trust, held silently between them, tender and unspoken. They did not need words. The world itself spoke in gentle sighs, and their souls listened. Each breath shared was a thread in a quiet tapestry, weaving a bond wrapped in calmness, as steady and certain as the turning earth beneath them. Their eyes closed, and yet, in the quiet dark, memories of the garden danced softly, the curve of fruit heavy on limb, the soft petals brushing fingertips, the shimmer of sun-warmed leaves. These were the touches of home, the gentle pulse of life just beginning to unfold. The night continued its slow, patient journey. Light from the moon spilt softly over their resting forms, like a loving hand smoothing the edges of the world. The garden breathed with them, a soft, collective heartbeat moving through root and branch, leaf and stone. It gave no questions, only presence, a sanctuary for slow, careful awakening. Morning whispered softly, creeping through fern and flower, casting pale gold over dew-sprinkled grass. The world stirred gently, as if reluctant to break the hush, careful not to startle the fragile blossom of new life. Man opened his eyes slowly, reflecting the cool sky. He sensed a quiet joy, a tender call to rise and greet the day. Beside him, woman's breath came steady, calm and full of soft promise. Together they moved, slowly unspooling from night's embrace, the earth warm beneath their hands. They rose, limbs stretching into the sunlight like saplings toward the glow. No rush, no urgency, only the gentle rhythm of new beginnings unfolding in its time. The air was filled with faint fragrances, wild honey, soft moss, ripe fruit, a lullaby of nature's kindness. Hand in hand they wandered through the garden, each step rediscovering the calm beauty all around. The leaves rustled in welcome, a language just for them. The birds above sang in quiet celebration, their notes delicate threads stitching the morning air. The fruit hung low, heavy with sweetness, and they reached out slowly, fingers brushing smooth skins and soft flesh. Each taste was a wonder, juice dripping gently, a quiet thrill. The garden offered its gifts without demand, a space overflowing with generosity and warmth. They found shade beneath a great tree, its branches arching like protective arms. There, the light filtered down in soft speckled patterns, dappled shadows resting calmly on their skin. They sat close, silent but connected, sharing a stillness that spoke of belonging and peace. In this sanctuary, time folded softly, its edges blurred by tranquility. The world beyond the garden was unknown, distant and dim, but here all was gentle rhythm and quiet presence. a sacred space where life whispered its slow, sweet story. As the day drifted toward evening, colors deepened and softened. The sky shifted through a palette of amber and rose, a slow painting done by unseen hands. Man and woman moved together beside a quiet stream, its water murmuring low secrets, caressing stones smoothed by centuries. Their reflections wavered on the surface, mingling, shifting, a mirror for quiet harmony. The garden around them settled into stillness, every living thing folding in gentle hush to rest. The soft pulse of life remained, steady and sure, a slow breath held in silent promise. Night came again, tender and unhurried, drawing a delicate veil over the earth. Stars appeared one by one, each a quiet glow of light, cradled in darkness. The garden leaned into sleep, wrapped in a lover's embrace of cool air and shadow. Man and woman lay side by side once more, their hands gently entwined. They closed their eyes, drifting into a shared calm filled with unspoken gratitude for the beauty that surrounded them, for the quiet garden and the peace within their souls. The breath, the gentle mover of life, whispered softly through the night. It wove around them like a gentle song, a lullaby of beginnings enfolded in stillness. No words were needed here, only the soft beat of hearts tuned to the gentle rhythm of creation. From this sacred pause, the garden breathed on, timeless and enduring, a world made not in haste or noise, but in the quiet crescendo of care and calm wonder. Life began not in thunder, but in the soft exhale of breath, and in that breath all things were born. And so, gentle reader, rest with this stillness. Let the quiet wash over you like a soft wave, carrying the seed of peace into your own heart. For in this calm a slow beauty unfolds, steady, patient, and true. The story holds here, in this tender space between night and dawn. The garden waits, the breath lingers, and the first gentle stirrings of humanity settle softly into the endless quiet of becoming. Dawn tiptoed again into the garden. It came without rush, as if it too wished to linger in the soothing quiet, to prolong the tender intimacy woven between earth and sky, light and shadow. The air, fresh and unspoken, carried notes of early blossoms and damp earth, weaving them together into a fragrant lullaby. The garden exhaled softly, rising awake with the gentle pulse of morning. The man stirred first, beneath the dappled shade of the same great tree. His breath rose slow and steady, matching the rhythm of the leaves rustling in their ancient dance. Beside him, the woman remained a quiet presence, her eyes closed, her chest rising and falling with the even grace of rest. The world held its breath, wrapped in the sacred hush of new waking. When she stirred, the moment softened further. There was no need for words, only the slow unfolding of recognition, a reaching out, fingers meeting fingers, a gentle squeeze that spoke of shared existence and trust. Stretching beneath the sky's tender gaze, their bodies greeting the day with reverence and calm, they moved toward the heart of their garden, a place where sunlight filtered through a canopy delicate as lace, casting soft patterns upon moss and stone. The air here was thick with the hum of life, bees tracing invisible paths, shy birds singing melodies half remembered, the distant murmur of water waiting beyond trees. This was the garden's breathing core, where growth was quiet but assured, steady beyond the turning of seasons. There, between ferns and wildflowers, the couple found a cluster of delicate blossoms, pale and shimmering under morning's touch. The woman bent close to inhale their subtle perfume, her breath mingling with the scent of earth and leaf. The man watched her, a warmth in his eyes that echoed the sun's gentle light. Without urgency, she extended a hand toward a slender vine trailing along the garden's edge. The tendrils bore all berries, plump and ripe with the promise of sweetness. The man picked one delicately, offering it in the palm of his hand, as if it were a treasure. Together they tasted the fruit, its flesh soft and fragrant, a balm on their tongues that lingered like a whispered blessing. In the quiet moments that followed, their senses attuned to the garden's song, the splash of a bird as it slipped between branches, the subtle tick of ants tracing their orders beneath fallen leaves, the susurrus of wind weaving through grass, gentle and unending. Each sound became a thread in the fabric of their shared experience, each breath a friendship extended between life and life. They wandered beside the stream once more, now glistening beneath the sun's strengthening light. Water wove patterns over polished stones, singing in soft murmurs that invited stillness and reflection. The couple knelt at the edge, their faces twin shadows mirrored in the liquid glass, merging and drifting apart with the current's playful pulse. The woman reached out, dipping her fingers into the cool flow. Tiny ripples spread outward, touching the rough bark of familiar trees, the petals of flowers, the delicate wings of insects pausing nearby. The man gathered a handful, letting it slide slowly through his open palms, as if holding time itself, fragile and shimmering. The garden seemed to embrace them, a gentle presence alive with unseen care. There was no need for speech here, only the quiet communion of two beings bound to the earth, to one another, and to the unfolding mystery of life. Their hearts beat with a measured calm, each moment a small miracle crafted in silence. As the day matured, shadows lengthened softly beneath leaves, stretching toward the horizon as if coaxed by an invisible hand. The couple found their way back to the great tree, its sturdy branches offering refuge from the sun's warm touch. Here they settled once again, shoulders touching in a natural fit, their breath mingling like a steady tide. Words came unhurriedly between them, gentle syllables that carried the same softness as the breeze, naming each sensation as a gift, not as possessions, but as shared treasures meant only to be held, briefly, before passing along to those who might come after. The man's fingers traced the delicate curve of the woman's cheek, a touch feather-light and sure. She smiled, the kind of smile that seemed to still the air, turning moments into eternity. Their eyes met, and in that quiet gaze, the fullness of belonging settled deep within. Evening arrived in a slow, graceful descent. The sky brushed with hues of lavender and rose that bled gently into dusky blues. The garden exhaled again, this time heavier with the scent of evening blossoms opening to night. A soft chorus of insects began to hum, weaving a keening thread through the cooling air. Hand in hand, the couple wandered under the vast sky unfolding above them, the stars like distant flickers of ancient fire. Shadows stretched long and lean, wrapped tenderly around the garden's edges, enfolding it in the promise of rest. They paused where the stream whispered secrets in the dark, its waters a mirror of moonlight and starlight dancing on restless ripples. The man knelt, cupping the water in his hands to cool his face, then offered the same gentle refreshment to the woman, their eyes reflecting the quiet blessing shared in that simple act. Night deepened softly, not with cold or fear, but with a warm embrace that wrapped around them like a protective cloak. Their steps were slow and sure as they moved through the garden, tracing familiar paths now softened by shadows and memory. Upon reaching the great tree once more, they settled to lay beneath its sprawling branches, the earth beneath them a cool and steady cradle. The man reached for the woman's hand, their fingers intertwining once again, a silent vow pressed beneath the vastness of stars. Together they breathed with the garden's steady rhythm, a timeless lullaby that cradled life into gentle continuity. The world outside, its haste, its clamors, felt distant and dissolved, replaced by the tender pulse of being fully present. Their eyes closed gradually, the last traces of waking melding with the first stirrings of dream. The garden sighed its ancient song, a susurrus of leaves, water, and soft earth, enveloping them in the abiding peace of creation. In this space shaped by light and shadow, silence and sound, the man and woman rested, their love a quiet flame, their spirits woven into the fabric of the growing garden, still unfolding without end. And so, day folded into night, and night into dawn, the eternal rhythm carried on, soft, slow, and steady, a testament to the gentle act of becoming. The night deepened, embracing the garden in its soft cloak of darkness. The stars above scattered silver whispers across the sky, their light brushing gently upon the leaves and petals below. The couple lay side by side beneath the great tree, their breaths mingling quietly with the hum of nocturnal life. A gentle breeze moved through the branches, carrying with it the cool, earthy scent of damp soil, moss, and blooming night flowers, for words felt both unnecessary and too coarse for the delicate moment. Instead, their fingers remained laced together, a simple tether that held their shared presence steady and sure against the vast unfolding night. The garden's quiet song wove around them, a melody only discernible in the spaces between sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl, the rhythmic pulse of hidden waters flowing beneath the earth. The man's palm rested lightly against the rough bark of the great tree, feeling its ancient pulse, slow, steady, unchanging. It was as if the tree breathed alongside them, alive with stories told not in language, but in patterns etched deeply into its rings. A story of endurance, shelter, and deep-rooted patience. The woman shifted slightly, her head resting upon his chest, sensing the steady beat of his heart beneath her ear. Together, they formed a quiet sanctuary within the garden's gentle expanse, a place where time seemed to stretch and soften. Their connection rippled outward, unseen but palpable, like a secret kept safe within the weave of roots and sky. Slowly, the first hints of dawn began to tinge the horizon. A soft, pale glow seeped in, brushing the garden with the promise of another day. The stars dimmed one by one, fading like embers surrendering to morning's breath. The fragrance of dawn flowers unfolded gently, subtle notes of jasmine, honeysuckle, and whetstone filling the cool air. The couple rose with ease, still wrapped in the lingering hush of night. Their feet found the soft earth beneath them, warm and yielding. They moved hand in hand along the familiar garden paths, greeted by the awakening chorus of birds welcoming the sun. Their footsteps matched the slow pulse of morning life, steady and gentle, as if walking through a dream being painted anew with each step. By the stream once more, the woman knelt to cup the clear water, lifting it slowly to her lips. The man watched her with a soft smile, appreciating the tender rhythm of small gestures that spoke volumes. He dipped his hands in after her, letting the water glide through his fingers, feeling the cold rush of the current and the subtle weight of the moment. Around them, the garden stretched toward the sun, vibrant and lush. Leaves caught droplets on their edges, sparkling like scattered jewels. Butterflies began their lazy dance between blooms, wings flickering softly in the morning light. The scent of earth, warmed by daylight, rose, rich and alive. They found a quiet clearing beneath the great tree once more. Here, the sun filtered through leaves, casting dappled patterns on the ground. They sat close, shoulders touching, hearts beating in a silent attunement to the world's unfolding rhythm. The man reached out, tracing slow, deliberate circles on the woman's hand, a wordless language of care and trust. In the distance, a gentle brook babbled, its sound a constant thread woven through the tapestry of the garden's morning. The woman leaned her head on the man's shoulder, and he exhaled softly, a breath filled with gratitude for this shared sanctuary, this fragile yet profound existence carved out from the quiet earth and sky. The sun climbed higher, warming the garden's spaces, coaxing the petals open with golden light. It was a light that promised growth, renewal, and the endless unfolding of days. The couple remained seated, anchored in the stillness, allowing the light to bathe them, a soft reminder that life, like the garden, was both precious and fleeting. Time loosened its grip, and the boundary between self and garden blurred. They breathed as one with the life surrounding them. Each inhalation carried the scent of soil and leaves, each exhalation a ripple moving through the air. They were both rooted and free, fragile yet enduring, part of a larger harmony that stretched beyond their knowing. When the breeze stirred again, carrying pollen and the soft, sacred dust of earth, the man whispered, not words, but a tender vibration against the woman's skin. Her eyes fluttered open, meeting his gaze, and in that moment, speech seemed unnecessary. Their souls spoke quietly, echoing the garden's timeless song. They rose together at last, shadows lengthening beneath the great tree, and began their slow walk outward through the garden. Leaves brushed their shoulders, bees hummed a low note near blooms heavy with honey, and light spilled across the path like liquid gold. As they moved, each step was an offering to the world, a gentle surrender, and a celebration of life's fragile beauty. They carried with them the memory of night's stillness, the touch of water's coolness, the comfort of the tree's embrace. The garden held them close, cradling their love within its boundless heart, reminding them that in every ending was a new beginning, and in every breath, the breath of life itself. The sun, now fully risen, lit the garden in a warm glow, as if blessing them with its light, and so, hand in hand, they stepped forward, into the unfolding promise of all that was yet to be. Their footsteps echoed softly on the mossy earth, a quiet rhythm that seemed to blend seamlessly with the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant song of a lone bird greeting the morning. The air was cool, tinged with the scent of blooming jasmine and the faint sweetness of honeyed nectar spilling from hidden flowers. Their fingers intertwined, the simple connection anchoring them as they ventured deeper into the expanding embrace of the garden. Around them the world stirred with delicate energy. Tiny insects traced shimmering paths across the petals, and the thin thread of a spider's web caught the sunlight like a fragile prism. They paused, watching a cluster of cherries ripen slowly on a nearby branch, their deep red hues glowing softly in the golden light, silent witnesses to the passage of time and the promise of seasons yet to come. The woman lifted her gaze, eyes tracing the tall grasses swaying gently near the edge of a quiet pond. It was a mirror to the sky, reflecting clouds lazily drifting across the vast spiritual canvas. The man followed her gaze and took a slow, deep breath, feeling the eternal presence that surrounded them. The pulse of life that neither began nor ended, but always simply was. They moved closer to the water's edge, where the surface shimmered and rippled, with the touch of a soft breeze. Her hand skimmed the water, sending tiny circles outward, like whispered prayers. The sensation was cool and grounding, connecting the fleeting moment to the endless flow of time. A pair of dragonflies slid effortlessly above the water, glinting with iridescent wings, and the couple smiled quietly, warmed by the simple perfection of this shared experience. In that moment, the boundaries between themselves and the garden faded. Their senses expanded to include the faint hum of unseen creatures beneath the surface, the delicate fragrance of lilies blooming nearby, the comforting weight of the earth cradling their feet. It was a communion of being, silent, profound, a sacred bond that needed no words. Stillness enveloped them, broken only by the occasional bird call or the rustling of a squirrel darting through the underbrush. Time seemed to stretch and fold gently, inviting contemplation and peace. The man reached out to tuck a stray lock of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering as if memorizing the softness of her skin. She leaned into the touch, her breath catching softly as their eyes met. There was no urgency here, no need for explanation or promise, only the shared certainty of presence and understanding. The garden held their secret, a sacred witness to the holiness of human connection, nestled within the divine tapestry of nature. As they rose to their feet once more, the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long, dappled shadows that danced playfully among the trees. They followed a narrow path that wound around the pond, each step purposeful yet gentle, an offering to the life flourishing all around them. Ahead, a meadow opened wide, blanketed with wildflowers swaying like a living ocean in the warm breeze. They ventured in slowly, feeling the tall grass brush against their legs, petals soft and vibrant beneath their fingertips. The kaleidoscope of colors, purples, yellows, whites, blues, seemed alive with the breath of the earth, a reminder that beauty was not merely seen but felt deeply within. The woman paused, catching sight of a small, fragile nest nestled among the wildflowers. Inside, tiny eggs rested silently, promising the arrival of new life. Her face softened with awe and reverence, a quiet recognition of the cycle perpetually unfolding all around them. The man drew a slow breath, his heart swelling with the weight of responsibility and wonder. They knelt beside the nest, cloaked in reverence, and no words were spoken. The simple act of witnessing the sacred attention was enough. It was a reminder that humanity's place was not to command or conquer, but to honor and protect the fragile miracle of existence. Rising again, they moved toward the edge of the meadow, where the garden met the wider world, an unfurling landscape of rolling hills bathed in sunlight, stretching to where the earth met the sky at the horizon. The vastness was humbling, a reflection of both promise and mystery. The man reached out, brushing a hand across the tall grasses, feeling the whisper of the wind lift loose strands of hair and carry them away like ephemeral secrets. The woman smiled softly, her gaze sweeping the distant hills, then returning to the man's eyes. They were two souls shaped by the garden's tender hand, each step forward an act of courage and faith. They began walking again, slower now, savoring the lingering sweetness of the moment. Each breath was a prayer, each heartbeat a hymn to the sacredness pulsing through their veins. There was no need to rush. The garden had taught them patience, the gentle unfolding of time as a gift, not a task. In the soft light, their shadows stretched long behind them, merging and parting with the rhythm of their movement, a dance without music, alive with the subtle harmonies of life itself. The garden's song was quiet but everywhere, a timeless lullaby cradling the dawn of humanity within its endless embrace. As the sun reached its zenith, bathing the land in a warm amber glow, they came to a place where the earth seemed to breathe beneath their feet. soft and yielding, rich with the ancient memory of roots and rain. Here they paused once more, sensing the presence of something greater, the invisible thread that wove together all things seen and unseen. The woman reached down, pressing her palm into the soil, feeling the heartbeat of the garden radiate upward. The man closed his eyes, and in the hush of that profound moment, they both understood that they were part of something infinitely larger, a story beyond words, written in the gentle unfolding of each bay. Their fingers found each other's again, fingers weaving together, as if to seal a sacred promise. It was a promise of stewardship, humility, and gratitude, a vow to honor the fragile balance that sustained all life. Slowly they rose together, standing side by side beneath a sky painted with wisps of cloud and the gentle warmth of the sun. The garden stretched before them, a living testament to renewal and hope, whispering the eternal truth that life, in its purest form, was never solitary, but always shared. As they began their slow walk back toward the heart of the garden, the world seemed to sigh with contentment. Their footsteps left no mark, but carried with them the quiet power of love and existence intertwined. In the calm embrace of the day, humanity's story had found its voice, not in grand declaration, but in the gentle harmony of two souls entwined with the earth and each other. And so the garden remained, a living sanctuary where hope blossomed like the lilies by the pond, where every breath was a gift, every moment a chapter in the creation of a world bathed in light and love. The sun began its slow journey toward the west, casting a golden light that spilled like honey across the meadow. The man and woman continued onward, their steps soft and unhurried, as if the earth beneath them whispered secrets too delicate to be disturbed hastily. Everywhere they looked, the garden seemed to breathe, alive with the quiet hum of a world deeply awake, a gentle chorus that wove between the grasses and flowers. Each note was a tender invitation to listen, to be present. The woman tilted her head, absorbing the melody, her eyes reflecting the sunlight like pools of liquid warmth. The man watched her, feeling a swelling gratitude for this shared moment of quiet wonder. Together, they reached a small grove where ancient trees stood as silent sentinels. Their gnarled branches reached upward, weaving a natural cathedral against the sky. Beneath this living canopy, the ground was soft with fallen leaves, and the scent of moss whispered secrets of time's passage. They knelt once more, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath their fingertips. Here in the shade, they sensed the interconnectedness of all living things, roots entwined deep below the surface, unseen but essential. The woman pressed her palm gently to the trunk of a tree, and the man mirrored her gesture, their hearts aligned in silent reverence. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves above, and it seemed as though the trees themselves breathed with them, their ancient knowledge weaving into the fabric of the moment. The man's voice was barely more than a whisper. As he spoke, "We are a part of this, not apart from it." The woman nodded, a smile touching her lips. "We carry the garden within us." She closed her eyes, breathing deeply, letting the symphony of life fill her senses. In this stillness they understood a profound truth. Creation was not a single event, but an ongoing dance of existence, where every being played a sacred role. Time slipped by unnoticed, wrapped in the gentle embrace of the grove. As the sun lowered, painting the sky with hues of soft pink and amber, the man and woman rose, their souls enriched by the quiet wisdom they had found. They moved again, their path guided by the fading light, stepping toward the horizon that promised the tender embrace of dusk. In the distance a river shimmered, its surface catching the last rays of sunlight, like molten silver. The couple approached the water's edge, where smooth stones and gentle ripples invited reflection. Without hesitation, they knelt once more, letting their hands brush the cool current, feeling the water's life flow through their fingers. The river seemed to carry with it the stories of distant places, the journeys of countless lives, all arriving here in a timeless flow. The woman leaned close to the water, her breath mingling with the soft sound of movement, while the man lifted his eyes to the sky, now adorned with the earliest stars, shyly emerging from the deepening blue. In this moment, connected by earth, air, and water, they felt a sacred pulse align them with the vastness of the universe. The garden's song was no longer just around them, it echoed within, a melody of unity and hope. Their hands found each other again, fingers entwining with a gentle certainty, grounding them amidst the endless cycle of day and night. A silent promise passed between them, one of care, respect, and the ongoing nurturing of life's fragile beauty. As the first stars flickered brighter, the woman spoke softly, "We are but a thread in this vast tapestry, yet together, our weaving gives it shape." The man's smile was steady, warm as the earth beneath their knees, and in that weaving, hope is born anew. They rose slowly, hearts open and light, ready to carry the garden's quiet wisdom beyond its borders. The night settled softly around them, draping the meadow in gentle shadow and the tender glow of starlight. Their departure was a graceful echo of their arrival. No disturbance left behind, only the soft imprint of love and gratitude lingering in the air. Steps measured and mindful, they moved forward, each breath a prayer for the delicate balance that sustains all life. The story of their creation continued, not in grand gestures or loud proclamations, but in the endless unfolding of moments like this, still, sacred, filled with the quiet power of being truly alive together. As darkness deepened, a serene peace wrapped around them, a reminder that the garden, like life itself, was a circle without end. With every heartbeat, with every shared glance, the creation breathed on, ever new, ever whole, ever touched by the gentle hands of those who cherish it. And so, beneath the canopy of stars, they walked onward, carrying the garden's timeless song softly within their souls, a quiet testament to the enduring creation of humanity. Beneath the vast expanse of the night sky, they walked slowly, their steps softened by the mossy ground beneath them. The stars above whispered ancient secrets, their silvery light casting gentle shadows that danced around the couple as they moved. The air was cool and fragrant, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and blooming night flowers. It was as though the world itself was breathing quietly alongside them. Their hands remained intertwined, a tender anchor in the vastness around them. Each touch spoke of trust, of shared purpose. In that quiet communion, words were unnecessary. The pulse of their hearts echoed the rhythms of the cosmos. The sense of being small, yet infinitely connected, swelled within, a delicate balance between humility and deep belonging. The woman paused, lifting her face to the stars. She marveled at the countless points of light, each one a distant sun, a mystery, a story waiting to be told. "All these stars," she breathed softly, "they are like sparks from the same flame that lives within us." The man nodded, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "We come from the same source as they do, born from cosmic dust and ancient fire. We carry stardust in our bones, the song of the spheres in our blood." A gentle silence settled between them, filled only by the soft rustle of leaves overhead and the faraway call of night creatures. It felt sacred, a moment suspended beyond time. Slowly they lowered themselves to sit beside the riverbank once again. The water shimmered, reflecting the heavens as if it held the universe within its depths. Together they dipped their fingers into the cool flow. It slipped through their skin like liquid light, touching their souls with the stories of countless lives carried downstream. "It moves endlessly," the woman whispered, "like life itself, always flowing, carrying memories, beginnings, and endings all at once." He smiled, his voice calm and steady. "We too are part of that flow. Each breath we take, each moment we live, is a thread pulled from the endless river of existence." They closed their eyes, letting the river's song wash over them. The water seemed to sing of ancestors long past, of seeds buried deep within forgotten soil, of the shifting tides of birth, growth, and decay. In that lullaby they found a profound peace, a knowing that they were never truly alone. The woman leaned her head against the man's shoulder. "How miraculous it is," she murmured, "that from such vastness comes such intimacy, from stars to rivers to the beating of hearts, everything intertwined." He wrapped his arm around her, drawing her close. "This is the sacred dance," he said, "the eternal weaving of all that is into a tapestry richer and more beautiful than any one thread alone." Night deepened around them, but inside a quiet flame glowed. It was the fire of understanding, of love shaped by reverence for all living things. After a time they rose, moving slowly back toward the grove where their journey began. The trees seemed to lean in, their branches swaying gently, as if bidding the couple a blessing. The path beneath their feet welcomed them, soft and alive. As they walked, the woman stopped, gathering a handful of fallen leaves. She pressed them gently to her heart, feeling the pulse of life still lingering in their veins. Each leaf, Each breeze, each breath we take is a gift, she said softly, one that we must honor with every step. He nodded, his gaze steady. Our story is not just ours alone. It belongs to the earth, the sky, the waters, and all the spirits that dwell between. To live fully is to embrace that sacred responsibility. Together they reached a clearing bathed in silver moonlight. Here time seemed to slow, folding in on itself. They stood still, allowing the quiet to fill them, to root them. Their breaths synchronized, calm and deliberate. The man reached into the grass and pulled forth a small seed, smooth and perfect in its shape. From this, he said, holding it up between them, sprouts life anew, a single beginning that holds infinite possibility. The woman touched the seed, her fingers tracing its curve. It is fragile, yet strong, she whispered. Like us, like all creation, born to grow, to change, to become. They planted the seed together at the edge of the clearing, pressing earth gently around it. In their silent act, they offered a prayer for growth, for resilience, for the endless cycle of renewal. The wind sighed through the trees, carrying their wishes far and wide. Somewhere beyond vision, a new leaf unfurled, a new life whispered into being. They sat once more on the soft earth, their bodies close against the whispering night. The world around them hummed quietly, alive with possibility. It was as if the very essence of creation pulsed in the space between, the unseen threads weaving past, present, and future into one seamless whole. The journey is never ending, the woman said softly, eyes reflecting starlight. But it is also home, he replied, voice warm in the stillness. And so they rested beneath the endless sky, two souls luminous in the night, bound by love and the sacred rhythm of all that is and ever will be. In this union, they embodied the heart of the garden, the breath of the river, the wisdom of the stars, a living testament to the enduring miracle of becoming. Their story was not a single tale, but a chorus of beginnings strengthening one another, a promise whispered into the fabric of time. Together they would carry the garden's light forward, always tender, always patient, always full of the quiet power that comes from knowing they were forever part of the whole. As dawn approached, casting soft hues across the land, they rose with the promise of a new day. Hands clasped, hearts open, spirits intertwined, they stepped into the light, ready to nurture life's sacred dance anew. Dawn stretches slowly across the horizon, painting the sky with gentle hues of peach and lavender. The world seems to breathe softly in rhythm with the awakening light. The couple stirs beneath the tender warmth of the morning, their bodies still entwined in the quiet comfort of shared presence. Each heartbeat hums with the pulse of life around them, the rustle of leaves, the distant song of awakening birds, the soft murmur of the earth beneath their skin. Without a word, their eyes meet, reflections of the night's mystery lingering within. There is no rush to rise, no hurry to move beyond this sacred pause. Instead, they honor this space, a sanctuary between darkness and light, where understanding deepens without force, where love flows calmly, like an unbroken stream. They rise together, the seed's small home nestled in the earth near their feet. It waits silently, nourished by hope, nurtured by intention. The man gently touches the soil, feeling its cool richness, and the woman breathes deeply, sensing the unseen threads weaving roots beneath the surface. Each step they take is deliberate, measured in the tender care this new life demands. They walk slowly through the grove, their fingers grazing leaves swollen with dew, their awareness attuned to the subtle symphony of growth unfolding around them. In this time, every detail becomes a hymn, the way sunlight filters through branches, the softened earth releasing fragrant whispers, the delicate unfolding of a flower's first petal. They understand that creation is not a hurried task, but a sacred unfolding, a patient dialogue between intention and time. The woman pauses beside a pool of still water, watching clouds glide across its mirrored face. She touches the surface lightly, sending ripples outward that remind her of their own influence, small yet infinite. Life moves beneath and beyond her touch, unseen worlds stirring toward their own forms. It is a reminder that all beginnings are steeped in mystery, each seed a promise held quietly in the vastness. Her partner steps close, the warmth of his presence grounding her. They share a breath, soft and slow, and in that breath is a covenant, a mutual vow to nurture, protect, and witness the unfolding dance of creation together. Daylight moves forward, gentle and unwavering. The sky shifts from pale blush to the bright clarity of morning, and the grove responds. Flowers lean toward light, their colors deepening, veins glowing with vitality. The couple watches, knowing the seed they planted will join this chorus in its own time, becoming part of the living whole. Yet beyond this immediate world, their souls remain attuned to greater cycles. The man speaks softly, voice a murmur woven between the rustling leaves. Every life grows from 1,000 unseen threads, memories of sun and rain, whispers of ancestors carried on the wind, the slow dance of earth and sky. Our seed is not ours alone, it belongs to the endless web. She nods, eyes reflecting the dance of light on water, a silent acknowledgement of the truth held here. They walk onward, the path beneath their feet soft and alive with forgotten songs. The woman's fingers brush grass tipped with morning shimmer. She inhales the scent. It is both ancient and new, a fragrance of eternity wrapped in the freshness of this moment. The man pauses, placing his hand gently over hers. Life, in its true form, is never solitary. It is a gathering, a weaving of souls and elements, both seen and unseen. Her smile carries the weight of this realization, tender and profound. Together they come to a rise overlooking the valley below. The landscape stretches vast and endless, a tapestry of forests, rivers, and mountains, each element a verse in creation's ongoing song. They stand silently, feeling themselves as part of this vastness, neither separate nor small. As light climbs higher, they speak again, not in hurried words, but in soft reflections that rise like mist from the earth. To create is to love without limit, she says. To nurture is to listen with an open heart, he replies. They share a quiet laugh, the sound pure and healing, carrying with it the ease of knowing that their journey is both simply theirs and immeasurably part of all existence. Slowly they descend toward the blooming heart of the grove, where the seed lies patiently cradled by the earth. Day has settled fully now, the sun a warm balm that touches every leaf, every stone. The couple moves with reverence, hands folding gently over the spot where new life stirs. They do not need to watch constantly for the seed's growth. They trust in its quiet miracle. The woman speaks as if to the seed itself. Grow strong in the embrace of earth and sky. Find your place in the endless dance, and thrive in the song of becoming. The man closes his eyes, offering a silent prayer, carried on the soft breath of wind. What we begin with love will carry far beyond our sight. As afternoon turns slowly to dusk, the couple settles beneath the shelter of an ancient tree, whose branches cradle the fading light. Here they rest again, not in weariness, but in a peaceful connection to all that has been, all that will be. Around them the grove hums softly, a cathedral alive with gentle prayers of growth, resilience, and renewal. Their hands clasped together, warm and steady. In this shared stillness, they feel the heartbeat of creation pulse strong beneath their skin. Time stretches and folds, revealing the endless cycle they live within, the dance of beginnings and endings, of holding on and letting go. The woman's voice is a whisper carried on the cooling breeze. We are the beginning and the guardians of all that lives. The man nods, his eyes reflecting stars just beginning to kindle in the deepening sky. Rooted in love, we will continue to weave this sacred tapestry. Patient, tender, steadfast. Night returns again, wrapping the world in its quiet embrace. But the seed sleeps soundly beneath the earth, cradled by the legacy of their love and the promise of tomorrow. Together the couple closes their eyes, their spirits intertwined with the garden, river, and stars. In this unity they rest easy, knowing their journey is an unending rhythm, an eternal song that sings softly through all time. The creation of humanity begins again, with hope, with care, and with the gentle unfolding of life's sacred dance. The quiet breath of dawn stirred gently across the endless horizon. A tender light brushed the edges of leaf and grain and flesh, weaving through the landscape as though the earth itself inhaled the promise of a new beginning. The couple, seated still beneath the ancient tree, felt the pulse of all that lived whispering through their bones, hollow and soft, like the beating of a lullaby. Each breath, Each heartbeat stretched outward and inward, threading the layers of the world with their own. The seed had settled deeper now, cradled in warm soil rich with memory and becoming. Invisible pathways of roots, earthworm tunnels, water veins underneath, began their quiet work knitting the unseen into existence. The seed was no longer a single point but a converging bloom of life, waiting patiently in the dark. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves overhead, carrying with it the soft murmurs of generations, ancestors long returned to dust but alive within the echo of every leaf, stone, and breath. The couple listened, their hearts attuned to this silent, sacred conversation. It was not a voice of words, but a song of sustained presence, a language older than time itself. In that silence the truth was clear. Creation was not the act of a moment, but the folding of countless moments, each cradled inside the other like the layers of a poem. The earth itself was a song, composed with infinite care, each note layered with the histories of millions, the hopes of those yet unborn, and the touch of the present. Humanity was both a verse in that song and the hand that lifted it up to be heard. They rose slowly, their movements unhurried, echoing the timeless rhythm surrounding them. Every step through the living earth felt like a vow, a promise to tend not only to this small seed but to the broader breath of life it represented. Their roles were clear: caretakers, witnesses, and participants in the unfolding dance. This was no burden but a gift, born from the understanding that all things were inseparably knit together. As the sun climbed higher, casting golden hues across the valley, the couple moved toward a gentle river that traced silver through the green. Water flowed, endless and unbound, shaping and reshaping the world in a quiet, persistent embrace. They knelt beside its edge, cupping cool liquid in their hands and letting it splash softly over their skin. It was a reminder that life itself carried both resilience and surrender, strength born from yielding, power found in grace. The couple spoke little, for speech seemed unnecessary amid such profound communion. Their eyes met, and in that exchanged glance was a universe of understanding. They were more than themselves now, each a part of all that had been and all that would ever be. The seed beneath the earth was growing, not alone, but as part of a grand unfolding story, where each creature and leaf and river ripple played its role. Evening approached as a slow, tender sigh. Shadows lengthened and deepened, folding the earth into a hushed resting place. Stars began to pull themselves from the black velvet sky, quiet witnesses to the passage of time and the gentle persistence of life. The couple returned beneath the tree where they had first sat, their hands entwined, fingers curling in silent celebration of what had begun. They felt the steady heartbeat of the world beneath them, the shared pulse that connected root to branch to wing and claw to human hand. In this sacred resting place, the veil between past and future thinned, and they could see the faces of those who had come before and the eyes of those yet to come. Creation was a gathering, a homecoming, a circle unbroken. With deep, calm breaths, they closed their eyes, their spirits flowing outward like the settling dusk, mingling with the quiet hum of Earth's life force. Within them lived both stillness and motion, patience and hope intertwined in a single truth, that life's creation was never complete, but always becoming. The seed hidden in the soil would grow strong with time. It would reach upward toward the light, its roots deepening into the rich embrace of the earth, drawing strength from the unseen stories held within. From it, new life, new stories, new songs would emerge, each a thread in the infinite tapestry of existence. As the night carried them softly toward rest, the couple understood that their own journey had become one with the larger pulse of life. They were guardians not just of a seed, but of a promise, that through love, patience, openness, and care, life would forever renew itself, an endless sacred dance, woven by hands gentle and persistent, by hearts open and brave. In this stillness, creation breathed, persistent and tender, continuing onward, a living embrace felt in every leaf, every stone, every heartbeat under the vast eternal sky.